my friends, well, here we are again with another video. How to fix binoculars. Now this is basically like a part 2 to the first video I made regarding these vintage binoculars. I think they're 1940s, 1950s. And the thing to remember is that although binoculars are very similar in a lot of ways, they also have a lot of different things to them. And so this video obviously is not going to be a fix-all for all types of binoculars, but hopefully there are it'll be a guideline to give you an idea of how things work. And I'm going to show you how I was able to take this one apart, the eyepieces. Specifically we're going to focus on this one with the eyepieces. When I bought this one, I could tell that the glass was actually in really great shape, no scratches, no fogginess, very crystal clear. Unfortunately, these focusers here, they didn't move. They were stuck, and I knew that if I can get these suckers to work, then it would probably be a good binocular. Plus, I paid $5 for them, so not a bad idea. And I want to recommend, as I said, a couple things. First of all, that binoculars are very similar, but there are differences in them. Another thing I'm going to recommend is that you get yourself your proper tools, all the equipment that you need before you start opening this up, because the last thing you want to do is leave things open. You don't want any dust inside of here, because what could have been a relatively simple project is going to turn into a really bad, very difficult project, especially if you don't have experience like I don't. I don't know anything about these kinds of things. I'm just having fun doing it, figuring it out as I go. I'm not very good at anything except breaking things. Maybe you are in that crowd or that club yourself. And so the best thing to do is to have your equipment ready to go before you start opening it up. And I want to give you real quickly the tools that I'm using, all of which are relatively very inexpensive. So you definitely want to have a few of these lens cleaning towels. Get several of them, not just one or two. Another thing you'll want to get is this lens vise. They come with different chips. These could be about $15. Obviously, this is to remove the pieces and put in different ones. And then these little screws here are to basically secure them. This will open up and close, and I will show you how to do that. That's for the lenses, and I'll show you why you need that. Do not use a screwdriver. We'll talk about that. This, of course, is, like I said, I think I said, is a lens vise. Primarily, you'll see people using them for camera lenses, but the truth of the matter is that the way that a camera lens kind of screws in has a lot of similarities to binoculars, spotting scopes, and even telescopes, because that little tool was actually useful with my Celestron AZ102, which is a 4.5-inch diameter mirror or glass. Another thing that you need to do is make sure that you have cleaning solution, the proper cleaning solution, which is just lens cleaner. Just typical CVS, Walgreens will have this. There's no issue with that. Do not use a t-shirt. Okay, do not use your t-shirt. Use the proper materials. For those of you who have glasses, I wear glasses now. Within 1 year, the first year that I started wearing glasses, I completely destroyed them within like 6 months because I was using my t-shirt. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So use proper soft lenses. Also, you want to have the right tools. There are tools out there made for like watchsmith or watchmakers or watch repair people. And so they'll have super fancy, expensive tools, but you don't necessarily need those. However, I do recommend that you get a good set of tools to work with. These here cost me a whole $10, and the reason I like them is I like these more than the other brands out there or other styles, is because they have this slot right here. It goes in, and you can't mess that up. And then you can secure this. You can take it out. You can take it out in and out while this thing is on. You just have to secure it, right? There, it's on, and there you go. So about $10, and I recommend something like this. with this slot here, not the micro, whatchamacallit, screwdrivers on it. So speaking of micro, another reason why you definitely want to make sure that you start and finish this thing as quick as possible, or don't leave it sitting around for days, because you're going to have some screws in here that are about the size or smaller than a grain of rice. And although you can find the stuff on eBay, it's kind of difficult to how do you call it, to know which size exactly you're looking for. Now, I hate to jump around, but you know, I'm not a professional here. Now, this video here, or this tool that you see here on my computer screen, or on my TV, yeah, my computer screen, that tool is a mixture of this lens vise and another lens removal device here. Okay, you see those little, like suction cup thingies? Those there are designed to fit in like your camera lens. For example, they fit in your camera lens, and you turn it, and it has to be the correct diameter, and that way you can basically like squeeze out the lens. For example, it goes in here, you find the right size, and then you turn it, because these actually, all binoculars and scopes and all that, they all basically do this. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example of what it is. Alright, so they come out like this, and as you can see right here, somebody tried to use a vise. Thankfully they didn't damage the whole thing, but then you have this ring here, and you see these little slots. That's what the lens vise is for. And you have to turn that ring around, you know, counterclockwise. Then you have access to the lens. But also, now when you put stuff back in, be very careful. Don't force it. Everything is really finely made here when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially if it's good quality. Now you can also remove this part. And I understand that most binoculars are going to be super tight, and then of course you've got the screw here to remove this cap, and then you're into the closer to the prism area. Let's take a look at that real fast. Okay, then you've got, so you don't want to get any dirt in there. Don't blow into it there either. Now another tool that you can use, of course, is going to be now see here we have, you've got to be very careful. If there's any resistance, don't force it. Okay, also you can use like Q-tips to get in there and clean, but don't force it. As soon as it's resisting, and make sure that it's nice and tight so that you don't get any water at all or any kind of moisture. So that happens with everything, and the same thing is going to happen here. So now that I've told you my advice is to have all your tools set up. They are fairly affordable. What tools to set up, get it open and closed ASAP. Okay, so what happened here, now this particular binocular has no center focuser for dual, the knob that turns it to focus both of them. They're individual. So somebody must have glued this shut, because what it turned out to be was that they glued them shut, maybe for their vision. You know, somebody has 1920 or 2020 vision or whatever. They did it for them, and that they glued it in. So again, you're gonna turn just like the objective lens here. This part is called the objective lens. You're gonna turn this here. These will come out. Obviously, this is loose because I already did that. And the way that this works, as you can see, it goes like this, up and down. Well, that's how this works, up and down. Okay. Well, anyway, this can come off too, of course. But again, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. As you can see, this comes out as well. And then you can take that off and you can clean in there a little bit better. But again, very careful. Okay. Put that back in there. Now once you've taken this part off, okay, you go in there with a Q-tip and clean it up. Now, one of the other tools that I'm sorry I didn't tell you about was if stuff is too tight, you can always use actual rubbing alcohol. Now remember, I'm not a professional at this, but I saw a video where somebody was using literally just regular old over-the-counter rubbing alcohol with a Q-tip, just a little bit at a time. It took me about 20 minutes to get my Celestron telescope, the front lens, loose enough. Do not dunk it, do not drench it, just put a little bit at a time and keep trying it, let it work in, let it work in. Like I said, it took me 20 minutes to get my lens off my big telescope off. But use the cotton swab or cotton Q-tip to put a little bit of a rubbing alcohol on there. And once that comes off, now you see these tiny little screws here. Okay, there's 3 of them on here. Those screws are holding this dial thing in place. As you can see, this is the whole thing that moves up and down, up and down. Okay, so what we're going to do is, very important, do not remove the screws entirely. All you're doing is backing them out. I already backed this one out, I already backed this one out. Once you do that, it slips off. So those screws are basically holding on to like this part here. Okay, they're holding on to this part of this rear lens, and you can see that they can come out. Hopefully you can see that they come out of these little holes right here. But that, you know, because they go all the way through inside, and they grip onto that part in 3 spots. Now again, the way that this works is, there you go, you see? And that's how that works. So we're not going to remove this part here, but what had happened was that somebody put glue in here and in here. And the way I was able to fix that was a little bit more difficult than what I would have liked, because I was able to take, like I said, you saw me take off this part just a minute ago, and I got inside, and you saw me do this, right? It comes out. Now we have, just like the big lens, the objective lens, I took off the end cap, and now you see these little slots or slits right here. That's when you start using tools like this. Okay, you're gonna turn this counterclockwise, and for goodness sakes, please, I'm speaking from experience, do not try to use a screwdriver. Okay, you are only applying pressure to one side. It's not gonna work all that well for you. It might work, it probably won't. You could end up scratching your lens, or damaging the metal, or damaging the grooves. So you don't want to do that. So now mine is already a little bit loose, of course, because I've been using it. And now that it's loose, we're going to go counterclockwise, and the whole ring is going to come out. Now I can use my fingers, and it'll come out, and it's coming out, you see? Okay, now, alright, so now the ring, there's no way of putting this in the incorrect way, because those slits are only on the top. They're not on the bottom, they're only on the top. So when you put it back together, you can't really mess that up. Now here's one part that you're going to get very frustrated at if you don't figure out what you're doing. Lenses, most of the time, will have a domed part and either a flat or concaved part. Okay, so they'll have a dome or concaved. Okay, so in this case, and a lot of times, not always that if I can say that, my experience is telling me not always, buddy. The lenses with the dome part are going to be inside. Okay, the dome part is going to face inside. So now you have one of these towels to clean, the proper towels. This is when you apply your spray, and you just don't put your fingers on it. For sure, do not put your fingers on it. Okay, absolutely do not put your fingers on it. So you can clean it like this. Okay, and you set that down. And like I said, you can kind of tell that there's a dome part. I hope you can tell. There's a dome part. There's a flat part or concave part. But there's a dome part up top. I'm just going to leave the dome part on top there. And okay, sorry about that, folks. I gotta power up my camera here. It's dying on me. So a lot of times we make the mistake of, like, we take things apart and then we realize, oh shoot, how did this go? Oh man, I forgot, how did that go? You don't want to do that. Okay, you don't want to make that mistake. And here comes a more tricky part. This lens, that ring, it has a ring also. Unfortunately, that damn thing is on the inside because it's pushing the lens out, whereas that one was keeping the lens in. This ring is pushing the lens out. So that is an actual real pain in the Katusha. But it is exactly the same thing as this. And maybe you guys think it's boring for me to do this. However, I also want to show you a bit of a real-time situation here. And that's how you adjust. Okay, did I do it right? No. I gotta do it a little bit more. A little bit more. This is how you do it. I'm showing you real time so that you can understand. Okay, it's getting done. Oh, thank goodness. Because that was a pain in the butt the first time I did that. Now, I didn't know that that ring was there, or I didn't know how things worked too well. Okay, now I'm going to go in there with the other screwdriver because it's a lot easier to move it. And it's coming out real nice. Coming out. And again, once you put this back in there, there's no way of making a mistake. Okay, there, it popped. Watch the threading. I keep saying grooves. The threading, that's what it's called. Again, you can't make a mistake of putting it upside down or not because only the top, only the top has the two slits. So you can't make a mistake there. Now, here is another microfiber towel, because this one here is slightly wedged in there, and in this case, so this is why you need to be careful of how you do this, because you don't want to make the mistake of putting the lens in the wrong way. Okay, so there we go. Look at the size of that lens, how thick it is. It's dirty. Okay, and again, the dome part, you see how I just flipped it over? The dome part is on the inside, and the flat part is on this outside. All right. So now you've cleaned that up, this and that. Now the way that I was able to remove the glue, in case, which I doubt, in case you come across this wacky situation, the way that I was able to remove the glue from here was that because this was still, where was it? These two pieces were the ones that were glued in together. So I took off this part here, and I took off the lenses because you still have access to the lens, to this part of the lens if you take this off. If you take this piece off, you still have access to this. So you can take the lens off, and you can take the lenses off. Because what I ended up doing was I ended up putting in like a soldering gun, or a soldering. It wasn't the soldering gun. It was like the wire, or it looked like a piece of metal. I'm sure most of you know. And all I did was I put it in here. I put it inside here without the glass, and I heated everything up, and within a minute all the goo was falling apart. All the glue was just melting off, and then I was able to go in there and clean it off. But like I said, because I didn't know exactly what I was doing, I took the glass off first, and I could have damaged it, but just be aware of what you're doing in that sense. And so, like I said, binoculars are similar, but there are differences in them. So now that I've cleaned off both lenses, again, this is when you start to spray. The domed part is inside facing inside the container here. So now what we're going to do, and again, don't try not to touch it. So we're going to do the dome part. Let me see. Where's the dome part? Okay, there's the dome part. And I'm going to put that in there. Oops, dome part inside. See, I'm putting it in wrong. I was putting it in wrong. Great job, huh? Okay, so here we go. Now, there are also suction cups that you can buy. See, I just put my hand on it. Damn it. Yeah, there are these little suction cups thingies here that you can buy. These kits. Okay, these little kits that you can buy. This one was $30, and this is actually might be the first time I'm actually going to use it, because it's expensive. And darn it, yeah, it's the first time I'm ever going to use these things. Okay, so there you go. You see, that way you don't have to do what I was doing right now, which is pushing it in. Okay, so now this is like $30. I kind of thought it was expensive. Okay, then you push it in, and there you go. It's in. Huh. First time ever using that. That's a good $30, but that's still $30 freaking dollars. Okay, so now we got that in there. Now we're gonna do the real hard part. This was a really, really difficult part. I might not be able to show it to you on lens, on the camera, but I'm obviously gonna put this ring back in there and get it in there clockwise. Now, to begin with, I'm going to use a screwdriver just to get it to set in there. And I'm sorry, I wish I had an overhead camera now, but I think you have an idea of what I'm doing. Be very, very careful. As Elmer Fudd said, I'm hunting rabbits. Ha. Okay. Good grief. Again, I'm showing you real time, just so you get an idea of how long it can take to get this kind of stuff done. Hopefully encourage you to pick up a little hobby. You could always make some money. I mean, I paid $5 for this thing. It's just a lot of times you see people selling stuff at the swap meet, and you're like, how much is that? Oh, $15. I'm like, but you're missing parts, dude. You're missing a whole freaking lens. What do you want? Or things are, just off. I did it. Wow, I did it. Wow, I did it. Cool. I did it. That was a lot easier than I thought. But then again, my mind is already set on what I need to do, right? I already kind of basically know what needs to be done. So in any case, I'm going to pat myself on the back because I did it and I didn't break it. Yay! A new future for me. He didn't break it. I'm very popular around my city for that. Okay, so now, still, here we go again. Don't touch it. Use your lens cap, or your lens suction thingy. Okay, dome is on the inside. There we go. Wow, if that is not an advertisement for that tool, I don't know what is. I got a smudge there. Oops, let me see. Okay. And suck on that. Did I get a smudge? Sorry, guys. Okay, so pushed it in. Suck it. Suck it. And there you go. Oh, there, I cleaned it. Now, we are going to put the ring back in there. And we're going to open up these vices again. All this kind of stuff is time consuming, my friends. See, I got the wrong one, idiot. Time consuming, but it's a nice little hobby. You can make a couple bucks if you're young and you're interested in this kind of stuff. Ooh, a little more, please. May I have some more, please? I am a weird person, by the way. In case nobody got that yet. I am a bit odd. Good grief, Charlie Brown! A little bit more. Not a little bit less, a little bit more. Arg. Okay, real time, folks, real time. Did we get it? I think we do. What did I say about patience, right? You only patience when I go to the hospital. Okay, so here we go. By George, I think he's got it. And nice and easy. A little bit more. Patience, grasshopper. Patience, grasshopper. Snap, crackle, pop. Key wrench. And there we go. Okay, now we're gonna put this. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on it. I'm not 100% sure what kind of grease is out there for these things, but I ended up buying this kind of stuff that doesn't dry up. I bought a little bit more than I need. Freaking dog hairs. I'm sorry. Quite a bit more than I need. But there we go. And I'm gonna put some. Good grief! Be careful not to touch the lenses. That would suck. Okay. Maybe that's more than it needs, but that's alright. Do not want it to get all ugly on me. Okay. Just like that. Just like that. And of course I would drop it. What do you think I would do? Do it right? Now we're going to put that sucker back in here. Again, the threads. Be careful with the threads. And look, I put it in the wrong way. I put it in the wrong way. Who caught that? If you caught that, you don't have to do the homework for tonight. If you didn't catch that, you get detention. Alright, see, I put it in the wrong way. Okay, so now that's that. Let's get this bucket of grease out of here. And now we're going to put this part on. Now every part has a name to it. I'm going to name it this part, and I'm going to name it that part. So now this part here, now we're going to put the screws on. Okay, one. Not super tight, just all the way in. Alright, all the way in. Here we go. Remember, don't take these screws out. I've done that. I've taken screws out and then it's like, uh-oh, where did they go? Where's Waldo? Alright, so here we go. Now we go a little bit tighter, and we go a little bit tighter, and we go a little bit tighter, just like your car tire, right? Snug. Now you can see it goes up and down. Now we're going to put this part on here. As I said, gentle, the threads. There we go. You hold this part, hold the focuser to tighten this. Okay, there we go. And we're good. We're good to go. And there you go. There you go, my friends. So, like I said, even though binoculars are similar, they have differences, but in general, they'll have the all these things can come off, can screw off. These plates can come off. This whole thing, as you saw, comes off. This cap comes off, and they have those rings to hold the glass in place. So generally, those are the similarities that you will come across. And like I said, these are the tools that I'm using. Yeah, this was $30, but I guess it's easy to see that this is actually quite worth it. That's what it looks like. Came from Japan, and so I'm glad I bought it, even though this is the first time I've used it. Anyway, my friends, I hope that this little quasi tutorial was helpful to you. And if you're out there, if you're a young kid, you're looking for something to do, hey dad or mom, buy me this binocular for like $10 or $5. I'm gonna play with it, learn a skill or something, keep me busy, keep me out of trouble, right? Buy a couple of these things here. Very affordable stuff, generally pretty affordable. $15. That one was expensive, $30, but it's very very useful. $10, and of course, what, $5, $7, $8 for this whole thing, and it comes with a cloth. Anyway, hope you enjoy my video. We'll see you guys another time. Thank you very much.